I am unapologetically all of the following: non-political, non-politically correct, non-feminist, non-MRA, non-conformist, non-religious, non-gamer, and I'm a straight, white female. I possess a rational mind and the ability to think critically. I also have a professional background that involves analytical thought and problem solving, in the absolute sense, not the hypothetical or theoretical sense. I do not have a master's degree or a PhD degree, but I do have a history of making very complex things in both the functional sense and the artistic sense. I am blessed with a left-right balanced brain. I've never been prone to brainwashing. That's not to say people haven't tried. Believe me, they have. As a woman, I have had situations in my past where friends have tried to lead me down the road of victimhood, and I have always resisted. As a child, my own family had an issue of false accusation, and of course, I was invited to victimhood in that situation as well, and even as a kid, I didn't bite. Victimhood has never been an answer for me. The only answer for me was to correct my situation, take responsibility, and move forward to better myself and better my own situation, and not blaming people along the way. Of course, there's always some blame that gets doled out to certain people here and there, but that could just be in the heat of the moment. I still move on from that, and I handle any toxic people in my life accordingly by no longer communicating with them or keeping them at an arm's length, because I recognize what is toxic to me. And I believe that all women should behave like this. I don't believe women should allow themselves to become a ward of the state by becoming a victim, because essentially that's what happens. When they become a victim in the eyes of the state, they allow themselves to be controlled by the state. I don't want that for myself. I wouldn't want that for anybody. I am also a person who loves somebody very much that has been falsely accused and wrongly convicted. His case is still winding through the courts, therefore I must remain anonymous, and the name I use is a pseudonym. Generally, with my communications on the internet, thus far under the account Social Theory Watch, I do not get any negative backlash. I do not get any hateful reactions. Probably for the simple fact that I present facts, I present logic. If somebody reacts with a completely hateful comment, I move on. I don't engage. I don't allow it to escalate. If somebody responds with circular logic, I give up on that eventually too, because it tires me and it bores me. My brain doesn't work that way, and I can recognize it immediately. I don't get kicks out of goading people when they do display their circular logic, or when they do display their absolutely irrational behavior. I just move on. This is how I cope with the situation that my loved one is in, which I am also in, but in a different sense. I cope by doing research to understand how this can happen to a person, how an innocent person can end up dragged through the system and in jail. I research what elements of society allow it to happen. I research how a situation like this can resolve itself. This is how I cope, and this is what I do to help all of society. I inform. That is my goal, to inform in a factual manner. There may be some bias attached to my research, but it's mostly only in the form of comment that I make on my own research. My aim is not to beat any new ideals into anybody's head. My aim is to make people aware of the reality of a situation that surrounds us, and the reality of a situation that any unsuspecting person can find themselves involved in and not know what to do. My goal is to educate people on what happens to people who do get caught up in the system. My goal is to fill the gap of information that the media just isn't serving for us. They are not serving us all of the information that we need to know. My goal is to dive underneath the other side of the story of what the media isn't showing, and to counter what the media tells us when it's a lie. In a nice, neat little nutshell, I've basically determined that our justice system, not just in Canada, but in the US, in the UK, in Australia, and all the Commonwealth countries that share the same legal structures as us, our justice systems are corrupted by tunnel vision and noble cause corruption. These are two very, very, very important things, as seemingly small as they may sound just by hearing those terms. They are huge, especially noble cause corruption. And in one or two of my previous videos, and perhaps future videos, I explain that and hopefully create overall, with all of my videos, create the bigger picture of what noble cause corruption is, how it co-opted our justice systems, and how everything that we see happening today that we tear our hair out at is happening, and how it continues to happen. This is my goal, is to highlight all of these things, and the fact that I've had to learn all of this stuff doesn't make me happy at all. It doesn't make me happy. I lose lots of sleep. It's just, that combined with the situation that my loved one is in and that I'm dealing with as well on a personal level, all of this combined unfortunately doesn't make me a happy person. But I will say what does make me a happy person, or what helps to make me a happier person, is that I know people are watching my videos and people are engaging in debates with me and conversations with me to learn more about the research that I'm uncovering and exposing. People are thankful for the information that I'm presenting. People are thankful for the research that I'm doing. And in one case, I won't mention it specifically, but one of my videos has actually served as a tip-off for a overseas publication to actually do a really interesting article that has opened the eyes of a lot of people. Of course, I don't know the statistics on how many people have read the article, but nonetheless, the fact that my content is having that kind of an impact, that makes everything that I'm doing worth it, and it gives me some hope that I'm not just doing this for nothing and simply just as an outlet to cope with the situation that myself and my loved one are dealing with. What I'm doing is simply paralleling a real life shitty situation, and it is doing good for the society in my eyes, and I know that people who appreciate the information that I put out there will also see it that way, and that is all that matters to me. That is all that matters to me. So anyway, now you know a little bit more about the person behind Social Theory Watch.